Hello everyone, welcome to iExamB. So in today's session, we'll discuss about the annual report which is released by RBI on Banking Ombudsman Scheme, as it is an important topic for various examinations like RBI Grade B and SEBI Grade A. So let's proceed. So RBI released its annual report on the Banking Ombudsman Scheme for a period from April 2021 to March 31st, 2022. And this was released by Consumer Education and Protection Department of RBI. So as it is related to Banking Ombudsman Scheme, what is this Banking Ombudsman? As it is defined by RBI itself, Banking Ombudsman is an expeditious and free of cost forum for the bank customers for resolution of their complaints relating to services rendered by the banks. And who can be this Banking Ombudsman? So Banking Ombudsman can be a senior official appointed by RBI to redress customer complaints against deficiency in certain banking services. So this report on Banking Ombudsman Scheme has been released, this annual report. And this report covers three erstwhile ombudsman schemes, which are Banking Ombudsman Scheme 2006, Ombudsman Scheme for NBFCs, which came into being in the year 2018, and for digital transactions, that is in 2019. All these three schemes have been integrated to be called as RBI Integrated Ombudsman Scheme 2021, which was launched by Prime Minister Mr. Narendra Modi on November 12, 2021. And the grounds of complaints were based to include all complaints involving deficiency in services. So all these three schemes have been brought under the ambit of Integrated Ombudsman Scheme 2021. This Banking Ombudsman Scheme 2006 was launched as an alternate grievance redressal mechanism, and all the complaints and the regulated entities which are covered for this scheme are scheduled commercial banks, urban cooperative banks and regional rural banks. And the complaints received through various portals like digital modes, including the CMS Complaint Management System portal, through emails, physical modes, and through CPGRAM, that is Centralized Public Grievance Redress and Monitoring System. And although this ombudsman scheme for NBFCs pertain to complaints regarding NBFCs, and for digital transactions, complaints relating to fund transfers, UPI, Bharat Bill Payment System, Bharat QR Code, etc. So this integrated ombudsman scheme, which covers all these three schemes, was based on the principle of one nation, one ombudsman. So territorial jurisdictions have been done away with the introduction of this integrated ombudsman scheme. And also there was one major development apart from the integration scheme. The coverage of this scheme, that RBI integrated ombudsman scheme, was extended to cover the non-scheduled urban cooperative banks with a deposit size of 50 crore or more, and also credit information companies. Apart from these banks, NBFCs, digital transactions, even now credit information companies have been brought under the ambit of this integrated ombudsman scheme with effect from September 1, 2022. So this was also a major development. So as this annual report that we are talking about on Banking Ombudsman, it is released by Consumer Education and Protection Department. What is this Consumer Education and Protection Department? It was set up in 2006 as a customer service department that frames the policy guideline and also oversees the functioning of 22 offices of RBI Ombudsman offices, because all these offices pertain to all those integrated 3 schemes that we have discussed, and also 30 consumer education and protection cells. And the primary function of this department is to administer the scheme and also compile the information related to it, and also publish the same as an annual report of this integrated ombudsman scheme, and also to handle complaints regarding deficiencies in customer services received through CP Grams portal of the Government of India, and also to oversee the grievance redress mechanism in respect of services rendered by various offices or department of RBI, and also to liaison with the banks and financial institutions. So this was about Consumer Education and Protection Department. So what are the major developments that have happened in this front, in this banking ombudsman scheme, and that are highlighted in this annual report? So first and foremost is the primary one, that function milestone that we have discussed, the integration of the 3 existing banking ombudsman schemes that was done in November 2021 to be called as integrated ombudsman scheme, right? And also one major development is the centralized receipt and processing center CRPC is established at RBI Chandigarh, and it is a one-stop physical location to receive complaints through physical mode or through emails from across the countries, and whatever complaints are received at this center, they are segregated, like some maintainable reports are there or non-maintainable reports are there. So only maintainable reports are segregated and sent to for further redressal to RBI ombudsman offices. So also there is one more particular significant thing is CRPC also hosts a contact center to assist complainants to lodge their complaints in 10 regional languages, apart from Hindi and English. So languages like Assamese, Bengali, Gujarati, Kannada, Oriya, Punjabi, all these languages also the customers can lodge a complaint. And also one we have discussed, that credit information companies have been brought under the ambit of integrated ombudsman scheme, and there is also a plan to bring in few more regulated entities also, right? And also national awareness campaign was launched on World Consumer Right Day on 15th March this year, like 2022, sorry, to strengthen the ongoing financial awareness and education by the department and ombudsman office. So these were the major developments that are highlighted in this annual report. And also there is lot of information regarding the type of complaints that have been received by these regulated entities, and what is the category of those complaints that have been received, and what is the mode of receipt of these complaints, etc. So we will be discussing the significant ones. So mode of receipt of complaints. So there are several modes of receipt of complaints, like the important ones are the CMS portal, that is complaint management system portal. So this portal, when the complaints are sent by the customers to these regulated entities like banks, NBFCs or payment system providers, participants, and when these complaints are either rejected or not addressed as per the satisfaction of the customers, they can always log into this CMS portal and can lodge a complaint. That is one of the main portal. And also there is CP Grams. This also centralized public grievance redress and monitoring system is an online platform available to citizens 24/7 to lodge their grievances to the public authority on any subject related to service delivery. So through this portal also the complaints can be lodged, and it is accessible to citizen through mobile applications downloadable through Google Play and all. Right. So in this annual report regarding these portals, it is defined that CMS portal is the most efficient mode of complaint registration, and it retains the highest share of complaint received to all these offices of RBI integrated ombudsman scheme. And physical complaints also have seen a slight increase as we compare it to the last year, because now there is one stop location for the receipt of all these physical complaints that we have already discussed at RBI Chandigarh. So that's why because it's a convenient method of sending the complaint, so that's why there might be an increase in the physical complaints. Also category wise receipt of complaints, that all those regulated entities have received the complaints, and what exactly, how much complaints they, and in which category they have received these complaints. This is all about that. So banks have received almost maximum number of complaints in terms of 88.04% of the complaints have been received by the banks, and in various categories, like in various activities: ATM, debit card, mobile, electronic banking, credit cards, etc. And NBFCs have received 10.94% of the complaints, and this data pertains to this year 21-22. And also there is also significant disclosures that complaints relating to ATM debit cards, that has witnessed a decline, a decrease over the past 3 years, but the share of this mobile and electronic banking complaints, that has seen a slight increase. And also loans and advances contribute to the majority of complaints against NBFCs, followed by non-adherence to fair practices code, that is also there in the now in the loans and advances section. All complaints related to that will now be considered under loans and advances section. So that's why maximum complaints pertain to loans and advances in terms of for NBFCs. And population, then next is your population and group wise distribution of complaints. Population and group wise receipt of complaints from the various areas, receipt from metropolitan regions, and from rural, semi-urban and urban regions. So the data shows that majority of the complaints are received from metropolitan regions, followed by urban, and then semi-urban, and then rural. But after the launch of this RBI integrated ombudsman scheme with effect from November 12, there is a decline in complaints received from rural, semi-urban and metropolitan areas, with a little bit increase in the complaints received from the urban areas. And also complainant type, there are several complainant types, like individuals, business people, from the companies, from the trust, from the government institutions, and everything. So that also information regarding that also is shared in this annual report. And it is observed from this report that individuals constitute close to 80% of complainants, but the complaint from even senior citizen has also shown a slight increase, but that is in the first half of the financial year, that is first 6 months. After that, next 6 months, there is a decline in the number of complaints received from the senior citizen. So another significant disclosure is about the disposal of complaints, how the complaints are disposed of. The data is also shared regarding the same, and observation shows that all complaints pertaining to the year 2019, 20, 21, 21 stand disposed, right? And also disposal rate has improved. Disposal rate has improved in the past 3 years. And also the pendency of the report, also there were number of pendency of reports, like more than 6,000 reports, and 6,000 complaints, and more than 150 were outstanding for more than 3 months, which is actually the lowest in the last 3 years, right? And then under the integrated ombudsman scheme, the overall status shows that under the 12-3 schemes, and also because the till November 11, 2021, these 3 schemes were operating separately, but from 12th November onwards to 31st March, the data also shows that everything is clubbed together. So that shows a total number of complaints which are received by these offices of RBI integrated schemes, and also CRPC, that stood at 4,18,184, which is an increase of 9.39% over the last previous years. So of the total complaints received, the 42% of the complaints were related to digital mode of payment and transaction. and of these 3,04,496 complaints were handled by these 22 offices of RBI integrated offices, and also it includes the complaints received under 3 erstwhile schemes till November 11, 2021. And also overall disposal rate has improved. The data also we had discussed in the last slide, that has improved, and the disposal rate stands at 97.97% for this year as compared to 96.59% of the previous year. And the this resolution of the complaints also has been majorly through conciliation and mediation, and 63% of the maintainable reports were resolved through conciliation and mediation modes. So that is the data. So there are several other developments also that have been highlighted in this report, apart from whatever we have already discussed related to the integration of Ombudsman scheme, about the CRPC, and about the national awareness campaigns, etc. Various other developments also have been highlighted. Right, the status of implementation of action plan set out in Utkarsh 2022 for the year this April 21 to March 31, 2022. So Utkarsh 2022 is a predecessor to the recently launched Utkarsh 2.0, right? So there were certain milestones that were highlighted as a part of medium term strategy. So those are, and what is the status of progress in that? So that is being discussed. So first was formulate policy or scheme for handling complaints not covered under Ombudsman scheme. So this post the launch of this RBI integrated ombudsman scheme, all these consumer education protection cells will now handle the complaints against all those regulated entities that are not covered under this RBI IOS, that is integrated ombudsman scheme. All those entities like non-scheduled urban cooperative banks with deposit base of less than 50 crores, and also all India financial institutions, asset reconstruction companies, and also NBFCs with an asset size of less than 100 crores. So that is it. And next is efforts for inclusion of safe banking practices in educational curriculum. So steps have also been taken in this regard, and this department also prepared the enough information and the material on financial awareness and consumer protection to be included in the educational curriculum of school students, and which has already been taken up by the National Center for Financial Education through the department of RBI called Financial Inclusion and Development. An extension of internal ombudsman scheme for financially sound well managed urban cooperative banks and regional rural banks, that is also one of the milestones. And then extension of integrated ombudsman scheme to NBFCs. Like there is a considerable increase in complaints against NBFCs and also against banks and non-bank system participants. So it was always, there was always a review which was taken by RBI to extend the IO scheme to selected NBFCs. So there was, after this launch of integrated ombudsman scheme, there was also circular which was issued and which directed the deposit taking and non-depositing NBFCs, non-deposit taking NBFCs with a I think asset size of more than 5,000 crores. Also having a public interaction, having a public interface to appoint the internal ombudsman. This is internal ombudsman at the apex of their internal grievance redress mechanism within a stipulated time period, right? So this all those directions were highlighted in that specified circular. So all complaints that are rejected by the NBFCs will be reviewed by that internal ombudsman before the final decision of the NBFCs is conveyed to the complainant. And awareness generation activities of CEPD and ombudsman offices. So in this we have already spoken that certain events were conducted on national this awareness week. So Ombudsman Speak event on the World Consumer Right Day was conducted as a financial awareness campaign by CEPD during the year 2022 being undertaken. Actually, it will be undertaken in the year 22-23, and this also the 22 RBI Ombudsman interacted with the local regional channels also in their respective regions on March 15, 2022 on the World Consumer Rights Day, that national awareness. We have already spoken about that. And there is also nationwide customer satisfaction survey for RBI Integrated Ombudsman Schemes, CRPC, and the Contact Center. So basically, after the 6 month of the launch of this integrated ombudsman scheme, nationwide customer satisfaction survey was conducted to gauge the satisfaction level of complainants who had approached the RBI ombudsman for redressal of their grievances. So that customer satisfaction survey was conducted, and also certain milestones have been highlighted that would be taken care of by the respective department in the next year, that is from April 1, 2022 to March 31, 2023. This is regarding the review of the guidelines issued under strengthening of grievances redress framework for banks, and for that several measures have already been taken and will be taken in due course with the issuance of circulars. And then extension of the ambit of this scheme to more regulated entities that are not covered presently. So step has already been undertaken to cover CICs, that is credit information companies. For them regulations would be issued in due course, and also to include housing finance companies. And intensified awareness initiatives to ensure to reach the remote and untouched regions in order to include the excluded segments of population. So these steps have been highlighted as a way forward that needs to be achieved. So this was all about the contents of ombudsman scheme, the report on the banking ombudsman scheme released by RBI recently. So this can be an important part of examination in terms of questions, MCQs, or also a part of any descriptive question. So that is it for today. So all the best for your preparations. Thank you. So prepare 50% faster with iExamB. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and press the bell icon. Also, you can contact us on any of the ways through the mail or on the contact number, or can visit our website if you have any information about the courses offered by us. So all the best once again. Thank you.